let's get right down to it in this latest episode of the Cross the Middle Show. We're going to start with Garrett Wilson. For those who don't know, Garrett Wilson was the Offensive Rookie of the Year this past year. That was before the Jets got Aaron Rodgers. So now Garrett Wilson looks like he's ready to take the next step. He's looking really good at OTAs. Everybody's talking about how smooth the guy looks. I mean, I watched some of his film from this past year. He's very good after the catch. He's elusive. He can juke defenders out of their shoes. I mean, the guy can flat out play. Then there's the stuff he does on slant routes. Can break a tackle. We saw him catch the fade down on the goal line against the Browns and then kind of celebrate right in the Browns fans' faces after he scored that touchdown. I mean, the guy looks really good. And when you get a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers there throwing you the football, obviously his potential is higher than it was a year ago because Aaron Rodgers is going to be a much better quarterback than the Jets had on their roster this past year. I think Garrett Wilson is going to make a huge splash. I think he's already kind of set the tone as far as his career goes by winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. To be able to build on the success that he's already had is going to be huge for Garrett Wilson. I also think it says a lot that he can be the number one receiver on an offense that is loaded with talent. You'd think that Allen Lazard would be the number one, and don't get me wrong, Allen Lazard can still be the number one because he kind of carried the torch to the Packers, him and Christian Watson when Devontae Adams left. So it's very possible that Allen Lazard ends up being the one, but it could be Garrett Wilson. It's really going to come down to whoever makes more big plays, whoever wins over Aaron Rodgers' trust. Now, obviously, Allen Lazard has a little bit of an advantage because he played with Aaron Rodgers with the Packers for all those years, so he's definitely got a little bit of an advantage over Garrett Wilson. That doesn't mean, Garrett Wilson can't be the number one, though. Like I said, it comes down to who makes more big plays. It comes down to whoever Aaron Rodgers is going to end up trusting more. And when you have a guy that was the Offensive Rookie of the Year this past year, that's somebody that has already kind of cemented himself as a reliable football player, more than a reliable football player. I mean, he was the best rookie on the offensive side of the ball this past year. So the guy has really, made a mark by winning that Offensive Rookie of the Year award because now people are looking at him in that light that he can be, someone that has the potential. Obviously, it's too soon to be speaking about the Hall of Fame, but he's someone that is off to a good start. You win Offensive Rookie of the Year, that means you're off to a good start, and you have the chance at maybe being a Hall of Fame player 10 or 15 years down the line. We're going to see. A big step towards that for Garrett Wilson would be, coming out and going for another 1,000 yards, lighting it up in this offense. Helping Aaron Rodgers transition from the Packers to the Jets smoothly. That's what needs to be done. If Garrett Wilson can do those things, like I said, it's going to be between Allen Lazard or Garrett Wilson to see who is the top receiver in this offense. Those guys are going to get it done. Randall Cobb's there, they got weapons. They definitely got weapons on the Jets. Mecole Hardman's there. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to be a high-flying offense. The Jets always say take flight. That's kind of like their motto, so to say. They're definitely going to be taking flight this year. They're going to be flying high with this Jets offense, with Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, Mecole Hardman. They're loaded. They're loaded on the offense side of the ball. I'm excited to see what Garrett Wilson can do. Does he get overshadowed by Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb because they had that past experience with Aaron Rodgers, or does he, keep making a name for himself and prove that last year wasn't a fluke? Because last year he was a great player on a bad team. He didn't really have to compete for all these targets. Now he's going to have to compete for a lot more targets because there's a lot more talent on the other side of the field. It was just Garrett Wilson. And they had Denzel Mims. It doesn't even seem like Denzel Mims is going to make the team this year. Elijah Moore's not there anymore. So we're going to see. Can Garrett Wilson hold his own against, the other guys that are coming in? Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, Mecole Hardman's there now too. We're going to find out if Garrett Wilson is still that same player that is dominant, that can bring a lot to the table? Can he be a 1,000-yard guy? We're going to find out, coming up this upcoming year. The other story we have is the Saints want to take Derek Carr back to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. Derek Carr heads to the Saints. He was on the Raiders last year, or for all those years, I guess you could say. His whole entire career, he was a Raider. Well, now he goes from the Raiders to the Saints. I think this has a chance to be a splash for the Saints because everyone's talking about how good Derek Carr has been. It's gotten to the point where, the Saints feel like they can take Derek Carr back to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. And obviously that would be huge for the Saints because, they had Drew Brees the last time they won a Super Bowl. They feel like it feels similar to when they had Drew Brees because, you look at what Drew Brees did. The leadership was a big thing for Drew Brees. What's a big thing for Derek Carr? It's the leadership. He sets the tone. He leads by example. He tries to guide his players in the right direction. He's focused on football. Derek Carr is excited about getting back to work, about being a starter, about getting a fresh start with a new team, about, being in New Orleans after being in Las Vegas and Oakland for all those years. Remember, he was a Raider for his whole entire career. So this is a fresh start for Derek Carr. It seems like he's making the most of it. It seems like he's winning over his teammates. We'll see. We'll see if they can get Derek Carr back to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. How huge would that be for the Saints, though? If the one missing piece that they really needed was a quarterback, Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton weren't the guys, they get this big upgrade by going with Derek Carr. I mean, that's how they all feel right now. You can get that feel from this team that Derek Carr was the missing piece for them. I know some people might think that's crazy. I know some people might say, this is just off-season stuff. Wait till the season gets here. I'm just telling you what the reports are coming out, and then I'm speaking on the reports and making my own assumptions about how things are going to go. It sounds like things are a lot better than they were this last year. I heard Taysom Hill's getting work all over the field, so we'll probably see Taysom Hill only in, the packages at quarterback. But I heard Taysom Hill's been getting a lot more reps at wide receiver. We've seen him play, like the H-back position and other positions. He's kind of a gadget player, I guess you can say. They use him on, special play designs. But now that they actually have a quarterback there in Derek Carr, we might see a little bit less of Taysom Hill at quarterback. We might see Taysom Hill more at wide receiver. At least that's what the reports are coming out of New Orleans. So that's where we're at on the Derek Carr situation. They feel like they can take Derek Carr back to the Super Bowl. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys think Derek Carr has what it takes? My gut feeling is a lot of you guys would probably bet against Derek Carr. You never know, though. You never know. Maybe there's a reason he was a starter for all those years. Maybe there's a reason he got another shot at a starting job. Maybe he does hit the ground running with the Saints, and maybe the quarterback position was holding the Saints back more than we actually thought that position was, because we thought Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton could kind of keep this team afloat. Well, that hasn't been the case. They haven't been good enough. Now the team gets Derek Carr, and that's supposed to be the piece that gets the Saints over the top. His teammates definitely feel that way. It says a lot when your teammates are buying in like Derek Carr's teammates have done for the Saints. They all believe that they have the right guy at quarterback. We're going to see. Like I said, we're going to see, does Derek Carr live up to the hype and get the Saints, at least back into contention where they're contending for Super Bowls and they're at least back in the hunt? If not, then we're going to see the Saints start reevaluating everything, all the positions on their team to see where they have to go from here. So far, everything sounds like it's going great for Derek Carr. It's going great for the Saints. The Saints feel like they have everything figured out at quarterback, which, it's a quarterback-driven league. If you got things figured out at quarterback, everything else starts to fall in place. That's all I got for the Cross the Middle Show. I'm John Kuzma. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Check out the Cross the Middle Show wherever podcasts are found. All you have to do is search for the Cross the Middle Show. Take care.